This is my literature, film, and society class. Lit film, the goal of lit film is to use literature and major motion pictures to take a look at social issues that affect the vast majority of the world. And so this year we are studying genocide, we are looking at misogyny, we are looking at racism, we are looking at poverty, and we are looking at a catch-all, which I call isms, which is nationalism, socialism, heterocentrism, all kinds of different smaller issues that we're globbing into one unit. The genocide issue, which we were in right now, we use a text called Genocide, which is a great little, it's packed with all kinds of information on basically every genocide known to humanity, all the way back to Carthage. But since we can't cover all of them, I generally like to focus on the Rwanda genocide. I started using the Rwanda genocide a couple years ago because we were reading Strength in What Remains as a summer reading book, so it tied in nicely. And so we just finished watching Hotel Rwanda. They've read 3 chapters of the book already. We've had a quiz. So it dawned on me all of a sudden last week that, oh, hey, we have a student who's from Rwanda. So I thought it would be nice to kind of put a human face on a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about, and also have an opportunity to get to know Sibo a little better since he's new to our community. Because I don't think we do enough of getting to know each other and hearing each other's stories or whatever. So if the only thing that comes out of this is that we get to know him better and we learn a little more about Rwanda, that's I think a class well spent. And for my guys, hopefully it'll bring home a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about and watching over the last week or so. This machine runs all the time, so it's hard to hear in here, so I ask that you please keep the side talking and things to a minimum so everybody can hear Sibo. And Sibo, I'd ask you to speak as loudly as possible.
Yeah.
So I have a couple questions I might throw in at some point. I think some of the guys from my class have questions.
Yeah.
But why don't we start off with by you just telling us a little bit about your country as you've experienced it for all the years of your life until you came here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and talk to you guys about my country. I really love my country a lot. It's like probably my first priority among the countries. I spent all my life in Rwanda. I came here a long time ago, 2011, for treatment, and that's when I started to know that there is other places. Before that, I never traveled anywhere else, like knowing there is other people, like white, we call them Muzungu. So it was really nice to see that there is other places. I feel like it's in another world. That's how I can say. So before I came here for treatment, I was very young though. I was very young, suffering from cancer, and then through the doctors, the hospitals, they were like sending me to different hospitals to find the way I can be cured, like cancer. And then luckily I got some white person who was in Rwanda as a doctor who saw me and realized that I'm suffering from a cancer, and she did all her best. She did all her best for me to get cured, and that's why she brought me here to USA and get treatment. After that, that's when I went back to Rwanda, stayed there for the autumn 2012, and started my education. But that was a little bit about me. My family, I come from, I was raised with one parent, mom, and I grew up with my brother and my sister, but they're all old. Basically, my mom had 13 children, but that was before I was born. And for me, I just knew three children of three of my siblings, but one died the same way I was affected. Mom told me that most of her children died during the genocide, which is what you're going to talk about. And so the genocide is not something happened quick like that. It took so long time to get prepared. Before the genocide came, our country was united, one language, same tradition, and it was big. It was Rwanda Burundi. That's how it was called. But when the Belgium came in our country, they started to bring new things in our country. Back then, what I know, we didn't have like shoes, so we didn't have. There were not many people who are educated by that time. So when they came, they started to bring like religions in our country. They started to bring clothes, all good stuff that people would like. Yeah, they were good and we liked them. But that was not their goal. Their goal was to divide us, but we didn't know by that time. So after getting to know us, they started to bring their knowledge about the way of dividing us, because it was one country, same language, same tradition. So one of the tricks they use, like they would come and look at you, like see how tall you are, and then if you're tall among the family, they will say like you're different from him, and they will measure you. They come and measure your nose. Didn't really make sense how they divided us, but because not a lot of people were educated in our country by that time, it worked. So they started to nickname us. We didn't have the Hutu and the Tutsis you hear by that time. We didn't. That came from the people, how we work. You see, the whole country, there are different people. Like there is rich, there is poor. So there were two groups: people who have like cows, those are the livestock, and people who are just like work out in Minecraft, like making pots, sewing. So those are the farmers, like that. So those are the two groups who are in our country, but it was, even though it was the two, but it was united. So when they see that you have cows and that doesn't have, they'll call you Tutsi, the one who has cows and kind of like somehow rich, and then those who don't have any, they'll call him Hutu, like that. So the genocide really was meant for like to clear all the Tutsis, like to clear them, to whip them out of the country. So what they will say, they will come and call you Tutsi and call you Hutu. That was already one division. And then a Another thing, they came and said they would nickname us about the animals, all different type of animals. So they will call it like a snake, and they will call the Tutsi will call them like a snake, depending with how tall you are, the measurements of the nose, or like that. And then the Hutu, they will call him like any type of animal. So in between us, wherever I see you, I won't see you as a person. I will see you as the other animal. They nicknamed you, like your snake, like a frog, like that. So that was how we started to build up. So we lived in that society, knowing there is Hutu, there is Tutsis, knowing that there is frog, there is a snake person throughout the time before the 1994. And then things were going well by that time. Then when our president was killed, Habyarimana was killed on the airport of Kigali, which is our capital city. So he was shot by one of our soldiers. So the soldiers were working for the country, but remember there is still that division, and they'll call him Habyarimana as Tutsi. And so when he died, everybody came up like, hey, now they start to say that this is now the time. This is now the time to wipe up all the Tutsis, because it was prepared before. But also one thing I forgot, when the Belgians came in the country, they took all like the boys, people who are like strong, they would treat them how to use all the equipments, a soldier to use the equipment of like starting the war. So they are the boys who were trained for that. So after that, after the journalists, when the president died, all those boys came up with the other people who are leaders. They came up. Now they started the war. So in a family, just a family, it could be like a father, mother, and the children, sisters. That's where they find that one of them turn around and kill their relatives, because already that, like, I guess something grew into them, like knowing that we are not the same, but we're in the same family, but they did not care. So the mother would kill father, or father would kill mother, or sister would kill sister or brother, like that. That some of those things happen a lot. They'll get machete and cut each other, and really just because of that division came in. So according to my mom's experience, my mom, so she had by that time when the genocide started, she told me the story. She had only 2 children, and then but she wasn't home. So when our president died, it was night. Then the killing started, but my mom didn't know what was going on because she was not home. So everybody in the village was so disorganized. She didn't know where her children are, and so she started to run around everywhere. So like you don't know where your family are. But she said as she was going or running, she would see people dying, and she didn't know what was happening. And then she met a guy who was like a soldier, but he's like a killer. You know, he's a Hutu. I feel like he was pity for her, and he hid her. That's how some of people were surviving in genocide. Luckily, you get someone who's Hutu, but he's kind of like some have some patience. Like he's not like animal, and you would hide those people, and luckily they survive. If the other member of the Hutu will not find him, so that's how my mom survived. They moved from Rwanda and they lived in Tanzania. By that time, I was in the stomach of my mom. So, but I was born when in the time of refugees. So that was when the genocide was over. But when she told me her story of how her children died, and then only that brother that I knew him when he's like almost 20 years like that. So we didn't get really that close to have the connection, that bond. Yeah. But it was really sad events that happened. I think if you have any questions for me, I may be able to answer them.
Can you tell us a little bit about your family now and
my family? Yeah.
What they do?
Yeah. So my family now, my dad is unknown. I don't know, and I don't really wonder about like who's my dad, because I now I have everything I need. So. No need. My mom, she's cultivator. She now has a land. She's a farmer, but before that she has also the talent of making pots. She's a traditional medical doctor. Those are the people who knows all type of grass that could treat you. Like if you're suffering from stomach, should go and get grass, give it to you, and you're okay. I have one brother and one sister, but they're all old. I'm the youngest now. My sister has 7 children, and my brother has now is 4. Now he has 4 children, so I'm the uncle basically. Yeah, and yeah, I think that's all. I brought some pictures to show you how our country was. So this is some of the thing I was talking about earlier. I don't know if you can see it closely. Yeah. But this is my mom on the left. So this picture, you see every year on July 7th. We have memorial site of genocide, and this is big ceremony we have about that date. Everybody cries up to now. It's been 25 years. That's how strong it was. 25 years ago, and everybody still cry. Those who knows what exactly what genocide was, cry, and most of people, some of them faint, still faint, because of hearing that. And on this down here, it shows like how the world, like by that time, here it is when they're coming back as a refugee to Rwanda, because nobody stayed in Rwanda. Everybody have to move, and in Tanzania, Burundi, like that. Burundi was one country with Rwanda, but because of genocide, it's separated, became two countries now. It's a very tiny country now. We speak the same language, but it's different language. It's different country. And here you will see, once I pass to you, you see like the women with the drums, and that's one of our culture. Anytime we have a ceremony, apart from a genocide, but marriage, those kind of ceremonies, we have these ladies who come with the drums, they sing traditional, and yeah. So you will see in like pass. This is one of our cultivation we do, like growing crops. This is banana. So banana it's been there for the whole time, and we use it to make our own beer. This is what we use for the wedding, and maize. It's like our traditional food. We most of the time we use it in many ways, porridge to drink, and I hear people say fufu, and we make that type. We make fufu too in maize, but it's mainly in cassava. We grow tea, and yeah. So these are the waving baskets I was talking about. Those are the Hutus. Their job most of the time making waving baskets. Yeah, and so the cow. Most of our cows are like this, and in this traditional dance, when we're dancing, we make this sign. The cow. So the cow sign like that when we are dancing, you know. So it's really meaningful. Something. It's very important. Do you have any questions for me? Yeah.
I just want to thank you for taking the time out your day to speak to us. And I want to know what's your favorite thing you do, like from Rwanda. Like, what's your favorite thing you do? What like to eat?
My favorite thing I do in Rwanda from Rwanda.
Like, yeah, just yeah.
Oh, me, right? Wow.
They don't gotta be. They can be one of them.
Yeah. I love spending time with my friends most of the time. For me, I kind of like don't have. I don't know how I can say, but I'm either at school or at hospital or in a village. Most of the time is at school, but for me, most of my life, I spend my life in a hospital, and that's the people who raised me and grew up at this age are the doctors and nurses. So I spend most of my life with the patients. Right now, I'm kind of starting to come back in good society, like live with community. I'm so happy. But yeah, that's why I don't have a lot of like that. I don't know. Yeah. Any other question?
Sure.
Yeah.
Can you show us the pictures?
Oh, they're passing.
These are the pictures of my family, like in the village, of me, and 2012, after getting healed, I went back to Rwanda, and that's when all these pictures were taken. This is my nephew. He's the child of my sister. he's kind of the fourth child of my sister. When we are together, we look like we are the same age, you know. It's so funny. But he kind of like helped me to dig, grow crops. Yeah. These are some of my animals. Goat. Yeah. So when I was here in the hospital, school, I used to get money and send it to my mom. And she knows I like animals, so she would get so many animals, and when I come back, she show me. I'm so happy with that. So when I go home, I don't sleep or do any or I try to be like them, do their activities. If they eat once a day, I get to do that too and experience all life. So that's me cultivating with my nephew. You can see I try to do everything. Yeah, those are just pictures of me in Rwanda. Every time I look at these pictures, I'm like, no way, I have a homesick all the time. So when I went in a village, I went with Renee, who is my host mom now, and that was her first time actually to be in Rwanda. Everybody was so happy to see me. It was like 6 years without seeing me, and I grew up. So this is the picture when I went there. Look how happy they are. So the kids would climb trees just to look at me on my host mom, and it was funny. This is my mom, and some of my nephews, my sister, my brother. My brother is like, yeah. When you see it, they're way older than me. Yeah, this is the picture I was saying about how they climb trees. My village is very cool village. Now we are back together, we are united. We still remember the genocide, we will never end to remember it, but we are very happy now. Our President Kagame, he do an amazing job looking out not only in the cities but also in the village. Now the new thing we have is electricity. I don't know that because it came when I was here. So that's a new thing. I'm so excited to go there and find everywhere is shining now. He gave each and everybody like cow called Giringa Munyarwanda. And the cow, the way it works, you raise it. If you have a baby, you give the baby to a neighbor. What he's trying to do is to bring back our culture of cows, because back then the culture kind of somehow disorganized, and he's trying to bring back our culture. Our marriage, we used to marry with, you would bring a cow when you're going to marry. That was our culture before the genocide. Bring a cow, we do that traditional beer, but now it's money. And he's trying to bring back our culture by bringing the cows back. Yeah. So, thank you. you mean in the genocide time? Yeah. So as I said earlier, like it wasn't there is big advance like technology grow up, but before there was no like big education. There was no like advanced education, so that brought that is another change that happened to our country. The building schools, the understanding of people have changed completely because back then you would see me as a snake, but now you don't see me as a snake. I'm a human. We are all equal now, and we are one. If you try to say like genocide or Hutu stuff like that in Rwanda right now, it's not a thing anymore. We see ourselves as Rwanda. There's no Hutu, there's no Tutsi. We know it existed, but it's just because there was not enough education. I feel like genocide happened in biggest part because lack of education. Because if they knew about these measurements and about all these tricks they used to divide us, it would not happen. You would see people who attended the genocide. Those are people who are not educated as much. Also, those who were educated, they couldn't do anything because it was big parts of those who are not.
So the Tutsis were favored by the Belgians, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so they basically controlled the country
Yeah.
as long as the Belgians were there?
Yeah. So the Belgians were just like there because they set it up, but they're just like watching. Yeah.
Did they leave when the stuff like started?
Huh?
After the stuff started, did they leave?
Huh?
Did they leave?
Did the Belgians
The
The
leave
Belgium live.
when the genocide started?
Yeah, they live, but their culture thing stayed in us, so which led us to proceed. Because after the genocide, when our president was elected, some point he stopped because there was a French. He stopped the French, and that's when he started to chase away all those Belgium. When the French stopped, and now they're trying to bring it back, just because the development of the whole world, right? Yeah. Now in Rwanda we speak many languages, so that's another change. English, French, Swahili. So now it's Kirundi, which is the same as my language, but somehow there's difference. So those are the changes I can see. Yeah. Respect is, yeah.
When's the last time you were in Rwanda?
Huh?
When's the last time you were in Rwanda?
Last 2 years ago. Yeah. So, and that was when I moved here as a student. Yeah, but before that, I was studying in Rwanda, come back here, back and forth, like that. Yeah. I'm so happy that I get to talk about this, especially to you who really want to understand about what happened to my country. It's really great. Thank you so much.
Before we play again, what's your impression of America as an outsider coming in here? What really strikes you as different, good, bad, just general impressions?
Wow, that's great. So, my impression, don't know how I feel, but I'm just like, I don't know what world I am in the world, because everything to me is very new, very new. I'm not kidding. Everything more every day. I meet everything new. I meet so many stuff that is new to me. So I'm just surprised because I don't know how I can explain.
Because of everything we have?
Yeah,
Compared to what you did?
Yeah. And for me, what I try to do is to understand, like, there is bigger difference. The life, the living, there's big difference. And for me, I really appreciate when everything happens to me. I don't know if I answered the
No, that's
question.
And are you healthy now?
Yeah, now
Everything's good?
health is strong. Yeah. Trying to make my hands grow brain, Yeah.
We still have time. Any other questions? Comments?
I like the speech. I like how you smile.
Thank you.
Keep smiling.
That's a fact.
I agree.
You always got like good energy.
Yeah.
When do you plan on going back to?
Yeah. This was actually really. I'm so happy with that because I'm going to Israel for this summer, but then from Israel I go to Rwanda. This is the place I used to hear about in the Bible. It's really great. I'm so happy about that. Yeah.
I just have a quick
Okay. Go.
question. What do, like, if the children have any free time during the day or at nighttime, what do they do? Is there, like, any particular games that they like to play? Or
In Rwanda.
in Rwanda, yeah.
Yeah. Let me say in my village because that's where I spend some of the time there. In the village, there's rural boys, so they really like to play balls, like soccer balls, the bouncing balls. Yeah, but those are the kids from like age from bottom up to like 15 years. But once they get like 17, that age, it's done. They start to move, get out of their house. They start to work for money like that. In Rwanda, if you're 18, the parents no more buying clothes for you. It's up to you. And like some of the very smart kids, like the intelligent kids, they take care of their family at that age. The mom, they get money and provide to mom or dad, and then they get what they need for the house. So that's where we are. Yeah.
In your picture, you were in a school uniform.
Yeah.
Remember, I asked you why your hair.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's hair was shaved.
So
Like that.
yeah, the school, that's like the school in primary and yeah, some of high school too. We're not allowed to go in school with hair, shave off, and that is the school rules. That you will notice that everybody in those the young children, you will see them as no hair. That's because of the school. But it's very good. Yeah, the girls too. I remember my first time starting school in P1. I used to, so the life is, I used to wake up every morning, go to work, to school, and most of the time no shoes like that, and go to school. But then the way they teach is different than today. If you get a question wrong, they'll beat you with a stick. That's how it was. But I didn't have that much life. I didn't live in that much life because after a year I got sick and then everything stopped until 2012. Then started my education again. So I'm so happy. I skipped a lot of my classes. Yeah. You had a question, yeah, sir.
Talk up.
Speak up, bro.
Where do you live now?
So I live with my host family when I'm here in Concord, Massachusetts. Yeah. They have 2 daughters. One, Haley and Caroline. She's 24, Haley, and Caroline, she's 22. Now she's 23. So, but they really, I'm like into them. They're like my family now. They take good care of me. They're like, I'm the youngest everywhere, in Rwanda and here. So I'm so happy.
Do you see yourself going back and living in Rwanda when you're done?
Oh yeah, my plan is I really want to do well in wherever we go, and I want to go back and study as medical doctor. Yeah, and go back, and especially in the village, because most of the time people who get good knowledge, what they think of going to the cities, but they forget about the village part. So I feel like we need to put up the village